Now at 5, Missouri Southern receives a grant for its new adult degree completion program. Plus, some Joplin High School students give back to a nonprofit organization that provides services to foster and adoptive families. And President Biden meets with his cabinet to discuss legislative priorities.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Mound Valley, Kansas today released the name of a man found dead after a weekend house fire. This is KOAM News at 5. Labette County deputies received a call about that fire just before midnight Saturday night. They arrived to find both the Mound Valley and Altamont rural fire departments putting out a fire at 110 East 6th Street. Firefighters discovered a body in one of the bedrooms. The victim has now been identified as 55-year-old Michael Frost. According to Labette County Sheriff, Frost's body was taken for autopsy. The cause of fire is still under investigation. Missouri Southern is trying to reach adult learners who might be working full-time or have children. Its new adult degree completion program provides 8-week online classes for most degrees to make learning easier for adults with busy lives. The program is meant for any adult who wants to either start college, finish their degree, or who works in a company with a tuition reimbursement plan. The program recently got approved for a grant by a nonprofit to help build it.
We applied for it and we received it, and a lot of those funds are being used for technology and software to help us set up this program here at Missouri Southern. And we will also probably have some sort of technology checkout program.
The director of the program says it has 5 starting dates per year. Some Joplin High School students today made a big donation. Members of the high school's philanthropic society presented a check for nearly $11,000 to Foster Adopt Connect Joplin. The nonprofit helps provide services for local foster and adoptive families. The students worked on several fundraising projects over the last year to raise that money.
I specifically chose this place because it was kind of new in town. They had just opened this campus. It was we'd researched some of the other campuses in the area, and it kind of really just hit home with us because we're thinking about the foster kids that are in the high school that might be struggling with things that we don't really see. It's kind of like more under the surface struggle.
The group will also be raising this money for another nonprofit. Tonight we continue our look at how power is generated right here in the 4 states. There's a variety of power generation sources, and one of the newest in the area is wind power. Wind farms dot the landscape in parts of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. Liberty Utilities built 3 wind farms in the area to help generate more environmentally sustainable electricity. And tonight at 6, KOAM's Chris Warner heads to one of those wind farms to find out why wind power is becoming a new preferred choice for electric generation. Let's check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Temperatures have been fantastic as we have been sitting mainly into the mid to upper 80s across the region. We have been kind of dotted with the cumulus clouds across the 4-state area, but overall it looks pretty good. We're going to have a nice evening on tap for us. Nothing going on the radar. In fact, you have to travel south before you find any rain. Central parts of Arkansas. So we're going to be nice and quiet, mainly sitting mid 80s on the Missouri side. Then you kind of jump into the low to mid 90s once you get out into our western counties. There's not much humidity, so it allows those temperatures to warm up pretty good. But we've had these kind of light easterly winds kind of ushering in a little bit cooler air for us as we go through the next couple days. We'll drop back to 82 by 7, 65 by 6 a.m. Is it ever going to rain? We'll look at that here in just a bit.
Catch you then. President Biden today gathered his cabinet for an end of summer meeting at the White House. An administration official told CBS News the president and his department had discussed key laws enacted on the president's watch, including the bipartisan infrastructure law and the recently signed Inflation Reduction Act. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill.
In his first cabinet meeting since March, President Biden talked about his administration's plans to implement several major bills he's signed into law this summer, including the sweeping Inflation Reduction Act.
I'm incredibly optimistic about the future that we're building here in this country, but it requires solid work making these laws work. The devil's in the details.
The president also received an update on his administration's response to the Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe v. Wade, striking down the constitutional right to abortion. More than a dozen states have enacted near-total bans on the procedure.
With midterm elections just 2 months away and control of Congress at stake, President Biden has begun traveling to key battleground states. Democrats believe the abortion issue will drive voters to the polls this fall.
In a new Wall Street Journal poll, voters said the Supreme Court ruling on abortion rights is motivating them to cast their ballots more than inflation.
A vote for a Democrat, a vote for myself, is a vote for abortion rights.
I'm strongly pro-life, but I have 3 exceptions, life of the mother being an important one, rape and incest.
Some Republican candidates are playing defense on abortion while trying to score points on other issues with their base.
Inflation is running rampant. Crime is out of control.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker polls for the U.S. House and Senate predict much narrower GOP margins than previously expected. Later this week, President Biden heads to Ohio to tout plans for boosting manufacturing. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Another issue Democrats are focused on ahead of the midterms is protecting same-sex marriage. Some have argued the Supreme Court ruling upholding those rights could now be in jeopardy after the conservative High Court reversed years of precedent on abortion. Uvalde, Texas public schools reopened this morning for the first time since May's mass shooting. Robb Elementary, where 19 students and 2 teachers were murdered, remains closed. Other schools are now surrounded by protective fencing with additional security cameras and upgraded door locks. But some parents and students say they still do not feel safe. Coming up, recommendations from health experts.
When should children get their flu shots? I'm Thalia Perez with what parents need to know as flu season approaches.
And later, why September may be a critical month for the future of cryptocurrencies. Topping today's Health Watch, research in the journal Circulation shows the risk of myocarditis after COVID-19 shots remains rare. Data from Israel found the highest risk for this heart muscle inflammation was in males ages 16 to 19, about 1 in 15,000 after a 3rd dose of the Pfizer vaccine. The American Academy of Pediatrics is advising that all children receive the flu vaccine as soon as it's available, ideally by the end of October. Thalia Perez has more.
The flu vaccine is recommended for children 6 months and older, with rare exception. The American Academy of Pediatrics says vaccines are the best way to prevent severe illness and keep kids in the classroom. Their new policy statement shows there was low flu vaccine coverage last year, with just 55% of children vaccinated. Coverage was lower for Black children compared to white children. While flu infection rates were lower last season, likely because of COVID precautions, health experts are concerned we'll see more flu and other respiratory viruses this season. The flu affects ethnic and racial communities disproportionately. Research over 10 flu seasons shows Black, Hispanic, and American Indian Alaska Native people had higher rates of flu-related hospitalizations. Deaths were also higher in these groups. The AAP does not have a preference for the type of vaccine a child gets, depending on age and health. The shot or nasal spray are both effective. While rare, some children die from the flu each year. Data shows among reported pediatric flu deaths, about 80% of children were not fully vaccinated. Thalia Perez, CBS News, New York.
Children under 5 and children with chronic health problems such as asthma are at the highest risk of flu complications. A review of the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, known as WIC, shows participants experienced better birth outcomes and lower infant mortality. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine found participating may also increase receipt of child preventative services like vaccines. Obstructive sleep apnea is linked to an increased risk for cancer, blood clots, and slower mental processing. That's according to 3 studies presented at the European Respiratory Society International Congress. Swedish researchers found the oxygen deprivation from obstructive sleep apnea is independently associated with cancer. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, pharmacy chain CVS makes a purchase to get into the in-home patient care business.
Plus, we're seeing nice conditions today. How long are they going to last? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Overall, the holiday weekend turned out pretty good. Of course, we did have some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region, but really just partly cloudy skies. Looks good for us right now. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo's just outside of Seneca, Missouri. You can kind of see the little puffy cumulus clouds which have been popping up. All right, rain-wise, obviously we haven't seen any today. We did pick up 3/10 of an inch just a couple days ago. For the year, we're over 34 inches. We're still above normal by almost 2 inches of rain, but you got to remember we were above normal at one point in time by 15 inches back in the spring. Look at our temps, a little bit cooler on the Missouri side, mainly into the mid 80s, and then you climb into low to mid 90s once you get into our western counties. But overall, it looks pretty good. We have these light easterly winds which are kicking in. That's going to give us some very comfortable overnight temperatures as we go through the next couple nights. 7th and range line sitting outside at 85. Winds are pretty much calm. Humidity fairly low at 49%. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 80s into the 60s, down to 64 later on tonight. So it's going to be very comfortable across the region. Just a few pop-up cumulus clouds. Besides that, we're high and dry. Not too much is going on, and it looks like we're going to see pretty much clear skies as we go through the evening hours. So if you're doing anything outside, it looks fine over the next few hours. Any rain, you got to travel south, down through Arkansas, eastern parts of Oklahoma, as we're still dominated, at least over the past day or two, by this big dome of high pressure. But you can see the winds kind of circulate around it, so it kind of brings in a little cooler Canadian air mass, which is fine. It gives us temperatures mainly into the 80s instead of the 90s, which we still typically see here at the beginning of September. Let's go through time. Midnight, upper 60s. I think we'll drop back mid 60s by morning. Mostly sunny skies once again for us tomorrow. By the noon hour, we'll be sitting right around 80, 81 degrees. And as we get into the afternoon, very similar to what we have seen today. 64 to start, 81 by noon, high temp of 86. Tomorrow evening also looks good if you're doing anything outside. Tomorrow night, much of the same, pretty much clear skies, even a little bit cooler, upper 50s to near 60 degrees by Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, another great day, a little hotter. We get into the upper 80s for afternoon high. So let's go down the road just a bit. We were talking about that big dome of high pressure. It slowly starts to break down as we go through the week. So as we work toward the weekend, we'll get a little bit of tropical moisture that starts to lift in with our next little system, which you can see some showers across the northern plains. And that will be our next chance for rain. Now, until then, not much going on. 86 tomorrow, 89 on Thursday, 92 on Friday. Look at the overnight lows, mainly sitting into the low to mid 60s, so very comfortable. We do get back into the 90s Friday and Saturday, and then a sharp cool down Sunday back down to 81. So overall temperatures looking pretty good over the next week or so.
Hope we get some rain. And
yeah, if we can get a few showers, we'll take it.
You bet. Thanks, John. Hey, extreme heat in Southern California is fueling an intense wildfire in the Hemet Valley that killed 2 and injured at least 1 other person as thousands have been forced to evacuate. Officials estimate 5,000 buildings are in the path of the flames. And nearby in San Bernardino County, more than 300 firefighters have been battling the Radford fire. In Northern California, 2 women died after they couldn't escape intense flames burning along the Oregon border. Record-breaking temperatures up to 20 degrees above average and intense drought have dried out the West Coast. Coming up, a look at the issues worrying cryptocurrency investors. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Everett Farmer served in the U.S. Army Air Corps from 1942 to 1945. Fort Scott, Kansas native was stationed in France and Germany, and we salute Staff Sergeant Everett Farmer, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, CVS Health announced it's buying Signify Health for about $8 billion, including debt. Signify, through the technology it provides and its more than 10,000 employees, helps CVS with its push toward in-home patient care. The company said they expect the deal to close in the first half of next year, pending shareholder and regulatory approval. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a measure giving more than 500,000 fast food workers in the state more power and protections. It comes despite the objections of restaurant owners who warned it would drive up consumers' costs. The new law creates a 10-member fast food council empowered to set minimum standards for hours and working conditions in California. The panel also has say over minimum wage for fast food workers and could hike them to as high as $22 per hour next year. Government regulators in Ireland are fining Instagram about $400 million. This comes after an investigation found the social media platform mishandled teenagers' personal information in violation of EU data privacy rules. Instagram parent company Meta said it disagreed with the fine and plans to appeal. Cryptocurrencies have taken a hit the past few months. Bitcoin prices continue to fluctuate after plunging below $20,000 several times this summer. Experts point to inflation and recession fears making some investors jittery. Reporter Meredith Wood explains why September could be a critical month for crypto.
Crypto under pressure. Bitcoin is trying to stabilize after several months of declining prices, even falling below 20,000. And experts say it's entering an even more volatile month.
I think September is going to be a make or break moment for Bitcoin.
Some economists predict deeper lows could be ahead as investors buy less Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies amid inflation and fears of a possible recession.
So many have either quit or they're holding, positions with significant losses and drawdowns that they're skeptical to go back in.
It comes as two major factors could impact the digital currency market this September. One, the Fed has hinted it could raise rates a fifth straight time later this month, raising fears that the move could tip the U.S. economy into a recession. And economists say that until the Fed pivots its policy to cool down the economy, digital coins will likely not see a significant increase in value.
So crypto alongside equity markets and fixed income will remain a pretty challenging place to be, and you can't expect material upside, and unfortunately, you should be expecting more downside.
Two, the largest altcoin in the crypto space, Ethereum, is about to cause a seismic shift in the market. Later this month, it's expected to undergo a much anticipated upgrade.
That is going to allow Ethereum to become less energy intensive and moving away from the proof of work to proof of stake.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Meredith Wood.
A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an exclusive interview with Hillary Clinton. Then on KOAM News at 6, details on a homicide investigation in Crawford County. Plus, we're going to take a close-up look at local wind farms to see how they generate power to some four-staters. And we'll hear from the Pitt State football team as they prepare to take on the 11th-ranked Nebraska Kearney Lopers this weekend. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Today is National Read a Book Day. Every September 6th, Americans are invited to turn the pages of one of their favorites or pick up something new. Numerous studies over the decades have stressed the mental benefits of reading, which include boosting a person's memory and concentration. Older readers also seem to show a slower cognitive decline compared to those who don't read as much. Those who participate are encouraged to spread the word on social media by using the hashtag #ReadABookDay. You should also, watch some TV news, but in addition, read a book today.
Or you could read it online.
That's true. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
The weather, temperature's not too bad.
No, it actually looks pretty good. Our overnight lows the next few nights are going to be low to mid 60s, so very comfortable. Our humidity isn't bad the next few days. 86 tomorrow, so a carbon copy of what we saw today. 89 Thursday, 92 on Friday. Some rain chances by the weekend.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.